Hello and welcome to the Princess Castle tutorial by Cakes. The first thing you're going to want to do is cut your kitchen roll tubes down to size. I did this by using dummy cakes to get the correct proportions. I used a 4-inch top tier and an 8-inch bottom tier. So get your clean kitchen roll tubes and just use a sharp pair of scissors to match the height that you want. This is for the actual tower part, not for the turret on top. Next, we want to cut out a piece of card that's going to support the base of our top tier and top turrets. So just place your dummy onto the cake card alongside the kitchen rolls and draw around them. Once you've drawn around them, use the same sharp pair of scissors and cut around your template. To make the actual towers, I use Saracino Modelling Paste. I cut some straight edges and then match that up to the kitchen roll tube. Paste the ends with water and that will help them stick together with an ever so slight overlap. Once you've got that in place, I'm just rubbing gently with warm hands and trimming around the edges, and that just makes the seam a little bit less noticeable. If you need a bit of extra water at the top to secure it, then just put that on afterwards. For the turret tops, I'm using an ice cream cone, so I've used modelling paste again, and I'm just wrapping that around in the same way using water to stick it to the cone. Try not to use too much water for this part as it will just make the cone disintegrate. And just wrapping that under the edges at the bottom and using a cocktail stick to pop in a hole at the top for the flags later on. I've then coloured some modelling paste in a light pink, cut around a window template and smooth the edges. Once the edges are smooth, use the Dresden tool to add some extra detail to make it look like wood, the back of a knife to put the centre mark on, and then a heart plunger to add the detail of the windows. To add detail to the turrets, I've rolled out the same pink in the modelling paste, used my tool to get some straight lines and cut those out using a knife. I've then put them onto my flower mat and thinned them out using a ball tool, and used the back of the knife to put the edging and the tile marks on. Then using a little bit of water, I stick that onto the ice cream cone. The ice cream cone has been secured onto the tower using royal icing, and you basically repeat this process, working your way up to the top of the turret, using the Dresden tool just to flick out that ruffle so it makes it a little bit more like movement, I suppose. You can also see that I have added a couple of extra bricks around the turret tower, and I've just used a plunger to put a couple of flowers at the bottom of the window sill on each of the towers as well. So this continues, just moving your way up the turret, putting each layer on and fanning it out as you go, just using a little bit of water to attach each of those. Make sure you leave a little bit of space at the top where that hole is with the cocktail stick, as that's where we will insert our flags later, with an extra little bit of fondant to secure the cocktail stick in place. And those are your towers. Here's a couple of photos now just to show you what the towers look like before the turrets and after adding the flowers. So the next stage is covering our bottom cake with fondant. I used the Sugarpaste, and this is just a pure white. The cake in this instance was a vanilla cake with jam, and then I've used a pink ganache on the outside. So I've used a little bit of water to secure my Sugarpaste. I've flattened down the top, and then I'm just slowly pulling it out and smoothing down the sides to ensure that there are a minimal amount of creases. Then cut away the excess using a sharp knife at the bottom and remove that. And then use your cake smoothers to flatten down and smooth out any creases that may have been at the bottom, making your edges as sharp as possible. The next step is going to be making a door for the front of this tier, in which I've used some pink modelling paste, also Saracino. I've just cut out an arch shape and used my knife to put the centre on, the same as we did with the windows. And I've used the Dresden tool to make some wooden effect. And now I'm just using the rose rainbow dust to add some shadow. Once that's done, I'm just going to turn it over and use some water to secure it to the cake. Once I'm happy with where that's been positioned, I'm going to add the door handles, and now I'm going to roll out some more sugar paste in white, get some straight edges, and then using the back of my knife, I'm going to put a tiled effect across. Use water to line that up around the door frame and a sharp knife to cut off the top. And the same again for the other side. Once I've finished this, I'm going to use the same technique to put a trim around the bottom of each of the tiers, so it looks like brickwork around the bottom. And once you've done that, you just need to secure everything with royal icing, including any princesses and the towers. And there you have your finished cake. Thank you very much for joining me at Cakes this afternoon. Let me know what you think of the tutorial. I hope you like my princess cake. I really had fun making this one, and I'll join you again very soon. Take care. Bye from Gemma at Cakes.